what we call reality is actually inextricably linked to what we call imagination. We need to recognize that everything we're experiencing is conceptual. We have these stories that we're entertaining in our minds about what's real, what's not. Oh, this person likes me. Oh, they don't. And those stories don't just exist up here. They are projected and overlaid onto our external world and everything we're experiencing. The real you is a fabricated, imagined experience, just like any other archetype you want to try on. We can really give ourselves the ultimate permission slip to be anybody that we want to be. The problem isn't the dream. The problem is that you like one side of the dream and not the other. When something good comes, it has to leave. Can you love it all? When you learn how to open to pain, it starts to taste good. And that's it. How deeply can I open to my own suffering and my pain, recognizing it's not the experience that really hurts, it's my resistance to it that really hurts. Science studies the world from the outside in. Meditation, you study it from the inside out. This mind is a garden. Be careful what you're planting, be careful what you're believing, and use meditation to come to that point of stillness where you can choose what you're sowing in your garden.
Benjamin Duffy, welcome to the Home to Self podcast. I'm so stoked that you're here. Yeah.
Thank you.
So you are a homie from Boulder, Colorado. You live here, and that's been really fun to just like be in community together. You're also a therapist, a liberation guide, a podcast host, and a model for Playgirl. And honestly, That's exactly where I want to start, because something that I find so intriguing about you is that you do play so many different roles and archetypes and have so many different flavors to who you are, and you just own them all, and it's very fluid, and it's something that I love playing with this concept as well within my own life. And so I'm curious to hear, I've heard you talk about this concept within the idea of like playing with the divine and not being so rigid with our sense of self. And so I just want to start there and hear a little bit more about what that means to you and how you embody that in your life.
Amazing question to start. And so playing with the divine, the question is, what does that mean? Like, what is our image and our archetype of what divinity is and what divinity is not? That's an image. It's a built on story, conceptuality. And when we understand that story and conceptuality are built, made, and then our stories are projected onto the world we experience. So when we recognize that, we come to this understanding that, we can play with any of the concepts that we're inhabiting, because the world we're inhabiting is inextricably linked to the concepts that we're entertaining about what it is and what it's not. Just like we are, and our experience of ourselves is inextricably linked to our concepts, our stories, our narratives of what we are and what we're not. And the thing is, most of the time we're unconscious that this is happening, but this is happening all the time. You cannot escape reality beyond your conceptual overlays, beyond your projections of mind. No matter what, there's going to be a story playing. Even the story that there is no story playing is still a story. And so we can just start to ask the question, who am I? So this is one of the primary actually tools in Eastern traditions is inquiring into who am I? What am I? And the more you are really examining that question of who and what I am, the more, if you're being honest, you won't be able to find something solid. You won't be able to find something like, yes, I'm Ben, but where did that come from? It's just a name. My parents gave it to me. I'm a human being, but that's honestly just, again, another name, another concept to really explain what we are, which is infinite and void. There is nothing real here beyond your mind, nothing solid. But at the same time, this is where we need to understand that what we call reality is actually, again, inextricably linked to what we call imagination. And although they seem so separate, it's like, oh, we have reality here, and then we have my imagination. We think they're separate, but actually our experience of everything that is real is an imagined experience, everything. So at that point, we can really give ourselves the ultimate permission slip to be anybody that we want to be and have that be valid. Because what is somebody, that's not the real you. Someone going to say that? That's not the real you. I know the real you. Well, the real you is a fabricated, imagined experience, just like any other archetype you want to try on. So for me, again, I've really dived so deep into spirituality, especially the Eastern traditions, um, and I found just really asking the question, where is the freedom here? Where is it? Just asking it and really following that question, again, it takes you to really deep openness and acceptance with everything that you are and that's coming through you. Where I have the freedom to try on any mask, where I can be, the fucking playboy, playgirl, whatever. I can be, the lover, the warrior, the king, the joker, the magician, all of these classic archetypes. And I can really give myself permission to be any of them because there's no real me here. So we, again, through coming into contact with the void, really experientially, you're not afraid to express. And ultimately, this goes to a very deep understanding for me personally, which is like, who do you think that you are? Who do you think that you are? Do you think you're just Ben and that Ben only is like this? Or do you think that you're something bigger than that? And can you let your desires guide you to become something new, to explore this world, to let the gods live through you? Because they're begging to do that. And the desire is how they actually direct you, how they direct this theater that we're all living in right now. And again, this is a very different story experience than what we've been conditioned to believe, that there is one solid me and it's just Ben here and no one really knows like really what's going on right now. But so, and we think we're just a solid, rigid identity, but that's a story. That's a story. There's only one me. Oh, well, that's a story. And what happens when we recognize that and we can start to play with who I am, my expressions of myself in life, with other people, in sexual settings? How do I express? What are the gods that are living through me? Can I open to that? Can I open to desire? And I think sexuality is one of those kind of arenas where you get to play with archetypes, expression, images, vibes. Vibes are the language of the gods. I really mean it. They express through feeling, through like the flavor of an experience, including the setting, the energy, the communication, how you hold yourself, the energy there. So not sure if that answered your question, but coming to this place of freedom with identity. And then if you're really free, how do you act? How do you express? What do you say? How do you interact with people? And that's an open question that I don't think should be boxed in, actually. It's how do you interact when you're really deeply free? So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I fucking love that. And it's so true. I mean, for myself, like I feel like so many people, I was conditioned to believe that the goal was to become this like really strong sense of self, but in the term of identity, so that like you know who you are and you kind of show up the same way every time and you are following this one path and it's predictable and whatnot, this like tangible, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
construct. But over the years it has become so liberating in my own experience to just embody all the different flavors and just play and dance with life based on how I'm feeling. And especially as the feminine, I mean, we go through so like such a cycle every month that is literally like a death and rebirth constantly. But I love it because I really feel like that is the ultimate sense of freedom. And even if we think about it as, you know, the body being such a mirror of the psyche, it's also like when we are rigid and constricted and we aren't flexible and mobile, like the body takes on that shape too. And I feel like it's the same with the mind, that we just like get so identified with this one way of being that then there's no freedom there, right?
Well said. And what's so interesting, what's going on with the mind when we are really locked in a solid experience of ego and identity, is actually, you'll notice there's a lot of fear present in some way, shape, or form. Fear of groundlessness, actually, of really understanding the void nature of all of experience, of all of what you want to call life. It's void. And ego doesn't like that, because if the world is void, so is the ego. It's all fabricated. It's all made in your mind and then projected outwards. And when we identify with the ego, that ego, which is really just an imagined experience of who we are, it holds on for dear life out of fear of death, out of fear of final endings. And this is a feedback loop where the more we're caught in fear, the question is who's afraid? There has to be somebody real here to experience that fear. Actually, there doesn't, but like this is an unconscious process. We assume that there has to be. So, and what's interesting is fear is a primordial contractive force that actually creates what we experience as something real. So when the mind is caught in fear, it's actually like shrink wrapping things. It's contracting around experience. When there is fear, and also that contraction leads to us experiencing something as real. So the more fear is in the psyche, the more there's a solid ego here that then has to cling and hold on for dear life to who am I? I'm a good guy. I'm a therapist. Okay, these are, again, we don't have to hold that tight. What happens if happens if I'm everything in creation and also none of it simultaneously? I don't give a shit if I'm a therapist. Like, sure, cool, that's one thing. But there's infinite, infinite, infinite. And why would we limit ourselves? And the key here, if we want to break out of solidified ego structures, is to take some chances and to start to really get very intimate with fear. What is this? Where did it come from? Do I need to be afraid of expanding my sense of self, stepping into maybe even completely contradictory identities? You know, like I'm the lover and the warrior. I'm both simultaneously, both slaughtering my enemies and loving tenderly simultaneously. So how do we merge these? Because the mind will say, "Oh, I'm one or I'm the other. I'm not both." Because the normal mind is looking for some solid ground to stand on so that I can identify with something. So, and the thing is, we don't need to cling to one identity. We don't need solid ground to stand on. We can actually float between identities. We can say, sometimes, again, I'm the lover, sometimes I'm the warrior, sometimes I'm the magician, sometimes I'm the hermit, and they're all me. They're all me. And actually, also, none of them are really me. These are masks. And no matter what, you can't get away from the masks. And instead of, again, if you can't beat them, join them. Start to harness the power of these masks to recognize when I inhabit a different story, everything shifts. When I give myself permission to say, this is real, this is valid, as real as anything else, when I inhabit a different story, it's not just conceptual. Your energy structure in your body changes. The way you interact with people, the way you spit game to chicks or dudes or whatever, the way you engage with the world changes. So this is not just a conceptual thing. It starts up here. You can work at the level of story in your mind. And then when it sinks into the body, you are different. You're changed. The way that you express is different. So this is extremely pragmatic in the sense of something like confidence and empowerment, love, wholeness. These things that we seek are directly dependent on the stories we're entertaining, and they're all made up. So if you want to feel confident, you want to feel empowered, you want to feel like a god, great. Find the story that fits that. Find this and use the body as a compass. That's what I always tell people. When you're trying on different stories, listen to what feels resonant and right. And it might not feel good because there are very dark images and stories that we can inhabit that feel deeply right. Maybe not pleasant, but deeply right. But just trying on stories like clothes. And you try on stories, how does that feel? And again, use the body as a compass. If it's invoking suffering, if you feel like a fucking loser, don't stop. Keep trying on different stories. That's the thing. People feel like a loser and they're like, I guess that's me. We identify with that. And that's where we get fucked. And it's like, we can shake that up just through, again, inquiry. How do I know? Who told me I'm a loser? What do they know? Like, quite literally. So nothing's off limits. And I want to just re-emphasize that these stories, it's everything that we are. Everything is conceptual. There's nothing can exist without some even subtle, maybe even non-linguistic form of conceptuality. Otherwise, you're entering into the void, and there's nothing in the void. I mean, not even nothing; it's the void. So, yeah, I'm curious if that answered your question.
For sure. No, I love the way your mind works, and I mean, there's so much to pull here from here, and I think let's wrap it up. This part of, or not wrap it up, but bring it together in terms of the Kabbalion and all is mind principle, right? Which I
Mm,
know you have on your bio. And I mean, this is really I believe, the perspective through which we are talking about all of this. And for those who are not familiar, can you describe a little bit what that means? I mean, you've already kind of gone there, but the idea that all is mind, that the universe is mental, right? We can't have an experience of nothing without us like creating the construct of it and then living it out. It's like we are interacting with life, and it is therefore a mental construct. And so I'm just going to pass it over to you and see, like, have you explain that a little bit
beautiful.
more,
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, great question. So again, the quote that I really love is it's in the Kabbalion, which is a Hermetic text written by Hermes Trismegistus, sort of this mythical teacher. Um, and yeah, so the all is mind. The universe is mental. We need to recognize that everything we're experiencing again is conceptual. We have these stories that we're entertaining in our minds about what's real, what's not. Oh, this person likes me. Oh, they don't. Oh, I'm a loser. Oh, I'm a winner. They're all stories. And those stories don't just exist up here, they are projected and overlaid onto our external world and everything we're experiencing. So from this point, we recognize, because well, let me start with this. There's a duality that is conditioned into us. It says the world is out there, and then I have my imagination in here, and they're separate. They're not the same. We have the real world, something that's objectively just real, and it's just like this. No one can change it. It's just here.
Mm-hmm.
We're conditioned to think that. Um, and then we have my stories and my narratives. And those narratives and stories and concepts are separate from that world out there because, yeah, they don't mesh. But interestingly, we can find just, again, through inquiry or meditation or just like really just paying close attention, that the stories I entertain are then projected onto the world I'm experiencing. And this is stories about self. This is stories about reality, about what this world is and what it's not. So we can ask the question with different religious traditions, the Hindu tradition, the mystical Christian Jewish traditions, the more animistic shamanic traditions, all very different worldviews. And those people that are living in those worlds are really living in different worlds. If they believe that there's one God, if you really believe that, your mind is manifesting that. Because we are the creator right now. And we are projecting that overlay onto the world of, oh, there's only one God, or oh, there's many, and all the Hindu gods. I'm interacting with Shiva, Shakti, Saraswati, all of these deities, and they're real. You feel them, you feel their presences because you are constructing them. Just like if you are an atheist and you say, oh, when we die, there's nothing and there's no gods here, it's just science and matter. Great. Again, you are the creator. If you say so, and so it is. And so it is. So then we create a world where there are no gods, no spirits. It's just science. And it's not bad. It's kind of lame and lacks creativity, in my opinion. Um, then that's projected onto the world. So again, who's living in the real world? Which one's really real? Is it the Christian world? Is it the Hindu world? Is it the atheist world? The shamanic world? Which one's really real? And just even in this conversation, it might dawn on you that maybe they all are, and simultaneously none of them are. And having that actually be valid and real, again, instead of looking to cling to certainty, letting go of certainty and opening to the void. The fact that the void is a blank canvas, and we are projecting anything we want onto that blank canvas. And it's so again recognizing that's happening in the mind, and then it is projected onto this world we're experiencing, which we think is separate from the mind. And this is where we need to merge what appears to be duality and separation, where the mind that's so in here and seems like my secret world is actually being projected onto everything that I experience and that I am. And you can't hide it because everyone's living in a different world, and you can start to taste somebody's world through eye contact, through connecting with them, through speaking with them. You're actually seeing what world is this person inhabiting. And I think a lot of people like my videos because they, even beyond the specific content, it's like, oh, this dude's inhabiting a pretty interesting world. And so beyond belief In, again, religion's a great example, that my religion's right, your religion's wrong. This sort of dogmatic experience of religion where there's one that's right. We can zoom out a little bit farther and recognize, oh, maybe they're all right. And all really can't explain the void because it's ineffable. It's unspeakable. If you try to define the undefinable, it's all of a sudden not, it's not complete. It's not whole. It's not the full thing. So you can never fully touch it through language. You can never fully experience the void because it's everything, and it's infinity and zero simultaneously. So anyways, coming back to the merging of the world out there and the mind in here. All is mind, the universe is mental. All is mind, the universe is mental. And that includes any experience of suffering. It's mental. It's determined by certain stories, certain beliefs of what I need in order to be happy, and what, if I don't get that, my life's a train wreck, I'm a failure. Oh no. That's you torturing yourself unnecessarily. You don't have to. Sure, you can. Depth psychology and the work of Carl Jung would say actually the soul wants some pain, some suffering, some torturing a little bit. But again, for me, it's all about freedom. So sometimes I want to torture myself, but just recognize you are the one doing it. But there's a fertility in that suffering. We're actually, like, the image I get is like we're diving into that darkness to scoop up this fertile soil. Because what gives you meaning, purpose, direction more than really deep suffering? And no matter what you do, even if you have oodles of money, you got billies in the bank, you got houses all over the world, you're just doing orgies and music festivals. I mean, that's what I would probably be doing, at least for a chunk of time. But like, even then, the soul is going to crave going into that darkness, and it will find a way to taste suffering. So basically, again, there's nothing wrong with suffering, but for me, it's about, like, I don't want to be trapped in suffering. I would rather go there willingly, which I do. But having the ability to step back and understand, how am I making my own suffering? And then if I don't want to, if I'm like, this is too much, fuck this. Great. There's practices designed. There's understandings of the mind that are, again, designed to liberate you from that, so that you're not unconsciously feeding the stories, unconsciously tending to the fire of your own suffering. You can put that shit out if you want. So again, all is mind, the universe is mental. It's not just, when we recognize that, we can do many things. So the first of which is, again, deconstructing our suffering. But then after that, we can recognize that even love is actually fabricated. Even experiences of connection, of unity, of empowerment, experiences of divinity are fabricated. And at that point, we can have the more positive element of emptiness. That's a Buddhist word, shunyata, the emptiness of mind and all of reality. There's nothing solid here. When we understand the positive element of emptiness, we can start to try on, again, different stories and narratives, different conceptuality that leads to deeper experiences of meaningfulness. And I look back on my life, and what gives my life, like, value are those experiences of deep meaningfulness, connection to the divine, when I'm speaking through the trees and I'm literally talking to God, and no one can tell me otherwise, because I'm there. It's dependent on a certain story. Those experiences where you are just sobbing at the beauty of life or at the grief of life, those are deeply meaningful experiences that are not just given to you. They're actually being co-created. So we can take the reins over our minds and over our lives to construct more, deeper, richer experiences of meaningfulness, connection, love with self and other and the divine, through playing with story, narrative, and conceptuality. Again, trying them on like clothes. How does that feel? How does that hit the heart and the soul? And not limiting yourself to saying, oh, this isn't real. Like, when I first started speaking to God, and I say that literally because, again, what do we mean when we say God? Is this separate from you? Is this an imagined experience? Or is it out there? Or could it be everything all at once? Think less, connect more. Speaking through the trees, when I first started to talk to God, the part of me was like, is this real? Who am I talking to? Like, what am I talking to? Is this me or is it there? Too much thinking. Let it flow. Say thank you. Say thank you and recognize the blessings that you've been given. And when you start to speak, there's something there. You feel it. You feel the presence when you really own that. You step out of your own way of, this is weird. Are people watching me right now? Who cares? Again, can we open to, again, just this example is constructing God. And when you pray to them, when you worship them, when you do rituals in honor of them, you're actually creating them. You're giving them power. And I mean that literally, not in the sense of, oh, it's just in my head. Well, we'll stay away from that for now. But these gods, when you create them and you feed them, they can touch you. They can fill you with power. Let's just think of, like, in the Middle Ages, we're riding into battle, sword combat, and you are pumping up the fucking boys, and you're like, all right, I got God. We got God on our side. There's no way we're losing. When you say that and you feel that, it changes your energy body. When you know that, you battle differently. So using that to construct gods, because they touch you, they impact you. And if you say there's nothing here, then there isn't. So that's the thing. It's up to us. And the only thing, there's nothing wrong with the story that the, modern, really just the modern paradigm that we've been conditioned into. There's nothing wrong with it objectively. It's just limited. Again, we've taken infinity and tried to put it into a box. And people's souls are like hitting the wall and being like, this can't be it. This can't be it. There has to be something else. Because there is. And again, that's your soul begging you for more deeper penetration with the void, actually. And the words are inherently sexual here because this is a cosmoerotic existence. And I say that literally. Everything here is trying to merge with everything else. Again, so I just made a video on this. Like, the flowers are giving off perfume for you to get closer. The mangoes, the apples, they blush when they're ripe, and they're just like, do you want to take a bite? And it's like, yeah, I do. Everything here is asking to be merged with, giving and taking always. And yeah, so the fabric of this place it is erotic. And we are looking again for deeper penetration, deeper depths, wider fulfillment from the void, from the eternal void, the cosmic feminine. So yeah, that was a riff. I don't even know where we started with that, but it's
That's all good.
yeah.
That's the beauty of this.
Water.
That's the beauty. Yeah. So in terms, I really want to double click on the point of the perceived self that we think we are and how it's all stories, because I really think that is at the root of human suffering, right? Is like when you forget that it is all mind, then you are stuck in a story that most of the time you didn't even choose. And that's the thing. It's like people think this is just who I am. These are the cards I've been dealt, and I have to figure out a way to manage it. And then they trap themselves even further by using words such as, I am this, or I am not enough, or I am poor, or whatever. And then the words like really just solidify things even more, because we are literally creating reality based on thoughts and then how we speak them and embody them. But so much of those constructs, of those identities, were created before we even knew what was going on, like subconsciously from the ages of like 0 to 7. And you could say we even arrived with them, like who knows. But the point is that this inquiry of story, I think, is really it is like we hold both the key and the lock to our liberation in that sense, right? And it is up to us to really question it and then choose something different, even though the familiar can be like your hell can be your familiar that you want to stay in because it's all you know. And so this is so much of the work that I do with clients too, is this like going back and like really dissecting the conditioning of the mind that gave you this identity that you now hold and are trying desperately to shift through external means. Like, only if I get the job and the partner and the money, then I will be something different. And so especially for people, because one of the narratives that I see a lot time and time again with people that I work with, and so I want to see if you want to touch on this, is the concept of I'm not enough, right? Which I think to every human can identify to some degree, like, and also not enough, right? Not skinny enough, rich enough, hot enough, whatever it may be. So I'll just let you riff on that for a second and how we can
Yeah,
start to break free from this idea of like not enough that's actually suffocating our magic.
sick, sick. Yeah, great question. I think, yeah, thank you for bringing it to that, something really pragmatic. This feeling of I'm not enough. I'm not enough as I am. And really just starting to, again, first off, that's a very painful experience. So we avoid that. We just assume it's true and we just look the other way. I'm not enough, but hopefully no one sees and we'll just stuff it down. Okay, that's not going to heal anything. That's not going to move this really painful, made up story. Actually, in order to do that, we have to become deeply intimate with that story of I'm not enough. We have to connect with it, even though it hurts like hell. It hurts like hell. So, naturally, we want to avoid just even like seeing that story that I'm not enough. But this spirituality healing is a warrior's path. It is. You need some sort of courage, actually, and some sort of gumption, like constitution, to be able to actually, instead of running away, turn towards. Be like, what is this? Yeah, I feel like I'm not enough, but why? What's going on here? And actually, there's multiple things going on just at that point, which is actually you're shifting from a relationship of resistance to the story that I'm not enough, which is actually amplifying your suffering. So suffering is equivalent to our experience of pain multiplied by how much we resist that pain. So when I'm resisting the story that I'm not enough, I'm actually amplifying my suffering. Versus when I'm curious, I have a relationship of openness, and the suffering that I'm experiencing starts to decrease because I'm just resisting that experience less. Okay, so that's one thing. Just when you start to inquire, what is this? Where did it come from? And then you can start to understand also, again, the specifics of the story, meaning like, what am I taking to be objectively real here? And again, so like I said earlier, our experience of reality is actually dependent on clinging and resistance. When I resist, there has to be something real to resist. When I cling, there has to be something real to hold on to. That's sort of how it works. So the more I resist, the more real something seems. So if I have a story in my head that, oh, she didn't text me back because I'm a loser, and of course she doesn't like me because I'm just not a good looking dude, I'm not confident, it hurts. That story hurts. You can feel it. And because it hurts, you resist it. And when you resist it, you make it real. You make it real. And all of a sudden it feels like, yeah, this is just objectively how I am because you're resisting it. So when we open instead and stop resisting, the solidity of the stories that we're inhabiting starts to loosen. It's like a knot. It's like a knot in the psyche where, and this is what trauma is actually. It's a knot in the psyche. Something happened that is completely unacceptable, doesn't fit the story of my life, and I can't accept it. I have to resist it. And the more I resist something deeply painful that happened to me, the more we're tightening that knot to where you can't change it. It's how it is because it's so tight. And instead, again, you have to go towards instead of running away and resisting. We actually move towards with curiosity, openness, and love and warmth, compassion, kindness, qualities of the heart. Let it open and examine these stories with those qualities. Examine your trauma with an open heart, with openness and curiosity. And that openness and curiosity does the opposite of tighten. It loosens the stories where all of a sudden they become malleable, workable, flexible, and we can untie the knots in our psyche, the stories that are causing us suffering, trauma, to just, yeah, causing us just all sorts of suffering. And we can start to retie stories intentionally and consciously that invoke power, that invoke confidence, empowerment out of what used to be trauma. Now I recognize I can write a story where, oh, thank fuck that my dad was a piece of shit. I love my dad. This is just an example, but thank God that I got someone kicked the shit out of me in high school because it made me who I am. It taught me, I gotta go learn jujitsu or Muay Thai, whatever. We start to really place meaning on our suffering. And there's a quote by Viktor Frankl, who is a Holocaust survivor, wrote Man's Search for Meaning. That is, suffering ends where meaning begins. And you can't make meaning out of something that you don't have contact with, that you don't understand. So we need to contact our trauma, our suffering, our pain, our limiting identities, and just start asking the question, is this real? Can I love this? And it's so paradoxical. It's like it's so paradoxical, because in order to again shift the stories, in order to really taste the void and the freedom there, we actually have to love ourselves and our stories exactly as they are right now. Because if you're like, I have this story, but I don't like it, I want to change it to that. Actually, that's a subtle form of resistance. In order to actually change your story, you have to first love the current one to death. There's no other way. And that means really just let yourself inhabit it. Own it, whoever you are right now. And you own it hard enough, and things start to become very malleable and fluid. And you're like, wait, am I this? I love it, but like I can also be that. And then we start to really again taste the fruit of and the freedom of love and moving beyond the solidified really just glass ceilings that we construct.
Yeah. Yeah, because outside of the constructs of who we think we are and the stories we've told that have become so ingrained, we are just consciousness and we're just having an experience. And I think that that's also like circling back to playing with the divine. It's the way I see it is like we are just here to have the experience, and I believe that God wants us to have all of the experiences, right? That's what makes us feel alive, is to be engaged, to
Mm,
be present, to be playing, and not be so rigid and like, this is who I am, this is allowed, this is good, this is bad. And instead it's just like flow, let life flow through you. Like be
mm,
the one that gets to have the experience, because that is the
mm,
beauty of being in a human body, is that you actually get to taste and touch and feel and love and cry and have experiences. And so
yeah.
without the constant labeling and judging of the mind, you just are and you're flowing, and there isn't that resistance which creates suffering.
Hmm. Hmm. Exactly, and that's the thing, that resistance, it creates suffering, but also it actually just is suffering. It doesn't lead to it. It is in real time suffering. That resistance, you can feel. It's like you imagine yourself like you're good, and there starts to be resistance. Oh, and it's just so that resistance is suffering. And I want to come to this full spectrum, sort of full circle understanding too, where there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And actually, when you come to this understanding of emptiness that brings radical freedom, the question is that all that you want? Is that all that you want? When we're living in these myths of who we are, living in this story of this one unique life that will never come again, what do you want? And I think ingrained in humans, ingrained in all beings, perhaps because we were made in the image of God, is the desire for the varied landscape of life. We want the highs, we want the lows, we want the victories, we want the failures, we want the tragedies, because it makes you feel. The gods, they don't give a shit about freedom necessarily. Maybe they do. What they want is for you to play your part, for you to get out of your own way so that they can inhabit you and live in this theater. Because they are, no matter what we do, living through us, when we're not, again, identifying with, I'm just Ben, I'm a human being. That's an empty story. It's one that holds a lot of weight, but we can inhabit different stories that lead to different experiences. So again, just understanding the place of suffering and understanding that you actually want that. You want that pain. And oh, this is a whole can of worms, but I love it. It's going to lead us into sort of an understanding of Tantra. So
Yeah, let's go there.
Tantra, yeah. So Tantra is there's multiple different kinds of Tantra. The one that I'm most familiar with is Tibetan Tantra, influenced by Vajrayana Buddhism. And a main point is sort of re-enchanting, making sacred everything that we're experiencing. We're merging duality of the sacred and the profane, and that includes pain, that includes discomfort. And this is not just sexual. So a lot of people think Tantra is only sexual, and that's a huge part of it. But it's a whole way of relating to the world. We're merging duality. We're even pain and suffering is a part of the erotic dance that you're experiencing with life. It's a part of life. Wants you to beg for it. Life wants you to know what it's like to be separate. Life wants you to taste pain, because actually when you learn how to open to pain, it starts to taste good. And that's it. How deeply can I open to my own suffering and my pain, recognizing it's not It's not the experience that really hurts, it's my resistance to it that really hurts. So everything in this life, when it hurts, when it is causing you suffering, it's a opportunity to see how deeply can I open to this. And this obviously relates in a sort of microcosm sexually to those who really like to feel pain. And I love to feel pain through physical exercise, through running ultra marathons. And I've found that again, when you're running an ultra and everything fucking hurts, you're chafing, you're cramping up, you're like, can barely run. Can you open to that pain? And that's why it feels so good, because it's really teaching you how to open to suffering. Recognizing again that it's not out there. The suffering is built on your relationship to pain. And when you can learn how to open to pain, all of a sudden life gets a lot easier. And again, you can start to taste the beauty, the intensity of pain, and recognize that, for instance, love and grief, two sides of the same coin. Can I open to both? There was one spiritual teacher, I forget his name, but his quote is, the problem isn't the dream. The problem is that you like one side of the dream and not the other. When something good comes, it has to leave. No matter what, no matter how great your relationship is, somebody dies first. No matter how much you love this life, you're going to be dust. Can you love it all? Can you? It's an open question. Just feel into, if I say, no, I can't accept my own death or the end of relationships that I love. Okay, how does that feel? Probably a lot of suffering, a lot of resistance. Versus, can I accept the fact that this one beautiful life has to end? And everyone that I know, everyone that I love, just like me, will be dust like that. Can I accept that? Because if I can't, I'm going to live in fear. I'm going to live in fear, and I'm going to make my life hellish because we're rejecting the nature of reality.
Okay, two questions based off of that. The first one being, curious to hear how you would answer, like, how do you personally open up to pain? Like, for people who are like, I feel like I can't, like, how do you actually do that? What advice do you have for actually
Mm,
like leaning into that?
mm,
Is it
that's a
just
great question.
a mental, like, are you changing your story about what pain means and therefore softening the body and literally opening to it? Or what is the process for you?
Right, that's such a great question. And for me, there is a conceptual part to it where we can start to tweak our stories of, is pain bad, for instance? Can I lean into it? Like with physical exercise. Is pain bad when you're doing, when you're repping out back squats? No. Pain is what you're looking for. So when I change my relationship to that pain, actually what I'm experiencing changes. So we can work at the level of the conceptual mind, at the conscious level of the conceptual mind, but I would say a lot of it is really more in the deep unconscious and in the somatics. Where for me, when I open to pain, I can't even say really what's going on. The best way I can describe it is like an image of, which is just an opening of the grip,
Yeah.
opening of the control, like lessening the control, lessening, really surrender actually. And you can't try to surrender, because if you're trying to surrender to make it easier, you're not actually surrendering. Um, you're still trying to change it. And so it's very subtle. But for me, the best way to open to pain is to be in pain. And that's the thing about like meditation retreats, is you're sitting for 8 hours a day. Not only is your mind like, all the demons are coming to the surface in your mind, your physical body is falling apart. Your back, your legs, your knees, it's like you're not meant to sit like that as a human being. And I love meditation. It's one of the best things you can do for yourself. But what you have the opportunity to really play with when you're really in pain sitting, like when it's 10 minutes into a 45-minute sit and you're like, already my knees are throbbing, you're like, what do I do? And like, that's when you can start to play with your relationship to pain. And what's interesting is meditation, it's like a lab. It's a lab of the mind, and you can study very, very closely what's going on. And with pain in the knees, for instance, you can notice, am I resisting? And you can say, fuck this, fuck this, fuck this, it hurts so bad. And all of a sudden something will shift in the being. It's like, fuck it, I can't keep doing this. Resisting. And all of a sudden the resistance drops, and all of a sudden the pain fades. And it actually can go to the point of completely disappearing. So this is what's pretty profound about meditation, or yeah, meditation. We'll just stick with that because you can find that actually my experience of even physical pain is dependent on my way of relating to it. In the sense of the pain that I feel is inextricably interwoven with my resistance. So when I get rid of the resistance to pain, it not only can it fade completely, but actually you can choose through a style of relating, of openness, and a certain, well, actually just prowess in meditation, being able to get into what's called the jhanas. I won't go into that, but unfabricated states of mind. Um, through calming the mind, you can actually transform that pain into bliss. And this sounds like magic, and that's because it is, and it's real. That's the thing. People don't know this is a thing. But like you can shift physical chronic pain, the pain you feel in your knees, through specific styles of relating and also certain conditions of the mind. Immense stillness, so you can see clearly what's going on. Where is there the contraction? Where are the knots, the solidity in the psyche? Can I get in there and loosen it? And takes, because really the pain is just raw sensation, and you are flavoring that sensation with your relationship, your style of relating. So when I say I don't like this sensation in my knees, boom, pain. And it happens like that. And when you, and it's just, pretty natural to resist that and create suffering. And we don't have to. That's the thing about, again, getting this prowess of studying the mind from the inside out, which is really what meditation is. Science studies the world from the outside in. Meditation, you study it from the inside out. How am I literally constructing everything? So even pain, in order to get into it, in order to learn how to let it go, you have to be in it. You don't know how to relate to pain until you're there. Why? And this is why I run ultras and torture myself. I choose to torture myself like that. That's why I do meditation retreats and torture myself like that, because it starts to feel good. And you're opening to pain in all of these ways just by sitting in it, just by being there. You recognize, again, and this is not something you can, like, conceptually we can get this, which is, oh, I just need to open to my pain, it'll go away. Yes, we get it conceptually, but then, okay, you're in a shit ton of pain, now what? Now what? It's not going to help you. You need to learn how to let go in a more somatic, full being kind of way. And that's the thing, it just happens. In meditation retreats, eventually there's that point of, I can't keep doing this. And again, it's not even like linguistic. It's not in the conscious mind, really. There's just a fuck, open. And that's, again, I think why a lot of people have those sort of kinks of domination and submission is just it's teaching you how to open your mind, body, and soul to pain, to difficulty, to being bound. And I think that's why the people love it, because it's liberating.
Yeah. This was such a huge part of my ayahuasca journey in May. Of like the first night, I was just in extreme physical discomfort, just so much nausea, and my body was like somatically just releasing so many years of trapped emotions and everything. And I knew that, and I couldn't purge. I couldn't like let go of the discomfort, and I just knew, like, what I kept hearing was like, stop trying to make this mean something. Like, we're just increasing your capacity to be with discomfort, to be with
Wow.
pain, right? And it was this where, like, I've been training myself mentally to understand, like, surrender and, opening up to the pain. And like you just said, you can understand it on the level of mind, but then it's like, for it to actually become embodied wisdom and to know is like to actually know how to go through it. And that was like such deep, like,
Yeah.
practice in the moment. And it really is, like, I love how you said how resistance is suffering. Like, it just, when we literally loosen our contraction against something, like, we're resisting what is in the moment. So if it's the pain, it's like, I think you can do a bottom up approach or a top down. Like, I kind of think both couldn't work, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it is this like softening around it that then
Mm,
like lessens the intensity of it.
totally. And I love 2 points here. First one I want to touch on is I love how you use the concept of top down, bottom up. because I say that all the time. We can work at the conceptual mind and have that kind of ripple into the being. And then you can also work with the body
Mm-hmm.
and have that ripple into the concepts. Like, for instance, if you go into a yoga class really stressed and you stretch your body and breathe into it, you leave, and what's the quality of your mind? Pretty clear, right? So we can do top down, bottom up. Uh, and also, a big part of this conversation has to be surrender, because really what it's teaching you is how to surrender. Because it's like, it's almost, again, tantric, erotic. It's like life is daddy, and it's gonna make you surrender no matter what. You have no choice. You have no choice. And like, that's what it is. It's teaching you, how do you surrender? How do you open to getting fucked by life? And I mean that like metaphorically and sort of literally. This place, the people in it. Um, and really, how much can I surrender to that? Because we have stories of where I want my life to go and how I want myself to be and look and how I want people to see me. And that's a lot of resistance. And sooner rather than later, life's gonna, again, force you to surrender.
Mm-hmm.
Surrender who you think that you are. Surrender who you wish that you were. Surrender how you wish that your life would go, so that you can open to life as it is and the beauty and the perfection there. Because we talk about perfection spirituality in spiritual circles. We say, oh, everything's perfect. But a lot of times we don't have that experience because we're not really surrendering. It's only through surrender that you can start to really touch perfection, because you're surrendering. When you say, oh, this is good, but I wish it was a little bit better, you're creating distance between you and the perfection right here, right now. And all of a sudden you're creating hell on earth for yourself, because you're like, yeah, this is good, but I wish I was over there and have these friends and all that money. Cool. But just notice that you're actually separating yourself from the infinite, timeless perfection of existence.
Which
And
is only
again,
right now.
it's just only right now, and you can only tap into it through surrender, letting go of how you wish things were, so you can tap into the way that things are. And the way that things are when you're not holding on is goddamn perfect in every way. In every way. And again, this is how we are creating hell or heaven from the inside out. And again, this whole topic of surrender, it really is also, we have to talk about letting go of control.
Mm.
So this whole notion, what comes to my mind is, let Jesus take the wheel, for real, just like let go. Let go of who you wish you were, how you wish people would see you, to let what is coming through you always be expressed. Because we have desires, not just to merge intimately with others, but to speak, to express ourselves through dance, to engage with the world. Can we trust those desires? Can we trust that we're being led into more goodness? Knowing our heart is that compass taking us to our highest timeline. Can we trust the desires we have? And that includes sexual desires. Yes, obviously. And that includes the desire to serve. That includes the desire to connect, to make music, all of it. Can we get out of our own way? Can we surrender to what's coming through us and not think that we're wrong for that? Remember who we are. There's nothing to be afraid of. We have this conditioning societally through religion that says, oh, there's something wrong with your desire if it doesn't fit the mold. Really? There's something wrong with a message directly from creation? Really? Who convinced you of that? And how the fuck would they know that? What? Like, I don't know. It's just kind of funny to me. And again, this is just happening for me. These understandings arise just by asking the question, how do you know? How do you know this is so bad? Who told you? What do they know? Quite literally, what do they know? It's the blind leading the blind out here, basically, the whole time. All of human existence. I mean, a lot of it. Obviously, there are extremely wise, gifted, blessed individuals that also lead the way. But empire seems to get, caught up in delusion. That's kind of what it does. But
yeah. As we start to wrap up this conversation, there's two more points that I just want to touch on, and I think they can flow into each other really beautifully. And one, and we've kind of touched on both already, but to go a little bit deeper, meditation. I mean, I say this all the time. I'm like, if there's one fucking practice that I wish everyone would just do consistently, it's meditation. And I know you feel the same way. So, touch on that real quick. And then if you want to tie
Mhm.
that into authenticity, which is, also following that
Mhm.
desire. And when it all plays upon each other of like when we let go of the surrender and the resistance and thinking things should be and what we should and shouldn't do, we open ourselves up to more of like what's actually coming uniquely through us, which is our magic, our gifts, our authenticity,
Mhm.
our
Mhm.
magnetism. And so I think through meditation, we actually get to embody that more. But I'm curious just to hear you wrap that up for us.
Great way to wrap this up. So we said a lot of really cool concepts, and then it's we got to practice it. We got to make it. Yeah, we got to integrate it, and meditation is the way we do that. So for me, meditation, there's many different styles of meditation. Obviously, there's like visualizations, there's noting practice, there's following the breath. Um, I love what's called samatha meditation, which is basically about calming down the mind. It gets you into those unfabricated states of consciousness eventually too, but you get there just by following the breath. And what happens is when you follow the breath, the mind and reality gets very simple. Because up here, there's infinite stories going on. It's like, the breath is very direct. It's not good or bad. There's just breathing. And you just notice like cool air in the nostrils, the expansion of the stomach or the chest. Very simple. Very simple. And then when the mind simplifies, it's like the dust can sort of settle and things become very clear. And you can start to see for yourself, oh, wait, is this story real? And you can start to dissect it with extremely clear vision, and you can start to really understand things. And also these insights, any insight that you get maybe on psychedelics, on ayahuasca, on mushrooms, or just spontaneously, you have to practice those insights for them to sink. You have to. Otherwise, like if I think I'm all one, and then I just do the same stuff, homeless dude is asking for $1. Oh, but I kind of want to buy a coffee. I don't know. Okay, we need to act as though we're all one, because that's creating a new world at the level of action. So these insights, also, in order for them to sink and be firmly rooted in the psyche and in the soul, we need a certain degree of stillness, a calm mind, calm waters. A calm mind is the most fertile soil for these insights to be planted and to start to sprout. So saying we're all one, it starts to sprout and it can be a little small. A still mind is the most fertile soil. It can start small and it'll grow into a bigger part of your life. This mind is a garden. Be careful what you're planting. Be careful what you're believing. And use meditation to come to that point of stillness where you can choose what you're sowing in your garden, because we reap what we sow. And do we want to sow compassion, kindness, connection to God and others? Do I want to sow the seed of I'm enough, no matter what the fuck anyone says? Because that's a seed we can sow. Or am I just going to be unconscious and just, oh, this guy looked at me weird, or this girl never texted me back, or I got fired from my job, so I'm a failure? We don't have to plant those seeds. Those are weeds that grow in our garden, and we can pull them from the roots permanently just by asking, do I want to feed this story? Recognizing it's made up. Recognizing it's made up. So meditation, I think it's such a game changer. Improves the quality of your life like no other practice. Easily, hands down. No contest. If you want to improve the quality of your experience in this brief blink between birth and death, meditate. Please, please, please. And yes, I know it's boring because it's very different. It doesn't have to be boring, and eventually it gets pretty interesting and exciting
Yeah.
in various ways depending on the practice. It starts boring because you're like, wait, what? I'm just sitting here and following my breath. But again, stay with it. This is a practice of a lifetime. And over for me, I've been sitting daily for 5 years, and it has easily made me who I am. Like, given me so much confidence, understanding, insights. Bro, take my time, 30 minutes a day. Like, what? For the payoff? It's unreal. It's unreal. There's no amount of money you can ever acquire, no amount of crazy orgies, feasts, yachts you can rent or buy, whatever, that can get you to the pleasantness and the contentedness and the peace of a still mind. You can't buy it. All you got to do is practice. And that's the thing. It's like working out. Just make it a habit, make it a ritual. For me, I wake up, I drink my coffee, and step outside, get some sunlight in my eyes, and then I sit. And I do that every day because it's a ritual. I'm on autopilot. I just do it. And then that's when, because you're having this period of reflection where also the mind is able to make meaning out of the past, because we're giving it enough space to be like, what just happened? My past day, my past week, that argument I got into, what's going on? And you give the mind enough space to make meaning out of the past, to integrate it. And also then you look to your future. What do I have to do today? Who do I want to be? What impact do I want to have on the world? These are big questions, and they arise when we meditate. And you get to come to some point of, again, resolution. Because until the mind hits that conclusion, it's gonna be spinning on, who do I want to be? What do I want to do with this life? You come to those answers. And when you have integrated the past, and when you have come to a conclusion, resolution about your future, at least temporarily, the mind can be stable and in the present. And that's when you can taste this place deeply. And that's the thing with meditation too. Like, it's one thing to have all those amazing, exciting experiences. It's another thing to increase the depth of your experiences, where even if I'm just eating an apple, I'm looking at the steam come off my teacup. It can be like transcendentally deep, like to the point of tears, through deep presence. So meditation is the most important thing I think a human being can do to improve the quality of their life. And relating that to authenticity, I want to say that when we come to that stillness where nobody's here, because again, all the stories of who I am, for instance, they're in your mind. When the mind is very simple and just focusing on the breath, who are you? Who are you? Until the story comes back, you can't say. But when the story comes back, oh, I'm Ben. Okay, the story came back. But we can start to really come to this place of really directly tasting the void. And the void is, again, it's the void. It's undescribable, indescribable. Absence, in a sense. And in that absence, again, you have a blank canvas. Who do I want to be? And that's an open question. And the archetypes, the desires, the imaginal experiences that come through you in meditation and in life, you can start to trust. Because you're like, oh, am I afraid of this archetype, this story, this desire? Am I afraid of this? Who is afraid of this? Can I trust what's coming through me and recognize that I am the void? And I am zero and the infinite simultaneously. I'm nothing and I am everything at once. And that's a very dramatic insight that actually comes through radical simplicity. And from that insight, you have this trust in what you are. Maybe you can't put a word to what you are, but you trust it. And then you can get out of your own way and really authentically express and dance the way you want to dance. Speak to the people you want to speak to, the way you want to speak to them. Sing, play music, engage with the world, and don't be afraid of what people think, because you are God. You are the divine right now, and you always will be. And trust that. And when you trust and open to yourself and your desires, interestingly, the world opens to you, because we are not separate. The world and us are one thing. There can never be a world out there without a viewer of it. And there could never be a viewer of a world without a world for it to view. It's a codependent arising. And actually, you could say that we are not separate at all. We are one thing. I'm just viewing this place. I'm viewing and experiencing and playing this role in the theater of creation. And can I trust that? Can I trust that? And can I trust my mind, the thoughts in it? Can I trust the desire in the body? Can I allow myself to become a meeting place of archetypes and angels and gods, where they get to inhabit me, play me like a puppet? And that can only happen through surrender to what you are, who you are, and what's coming through you. And that's where authenticity comes in. So again, just full circle, meditation brings us, at least samatha meditation, which the goal is to calm the mind. That brings us to really radical stillness, calm. And from that place, we can plant certain seeds, certain identities, certain insights that can bloom into how we experience ourselves in the world. And also then we can recognize that what we are isn't solid. What we are is a figment of our imagination and always will be. And we can start to tap into the beauty of that and allow our authentic expression in every way. And for a lot of people, this is hard, really hard. So the goal, I mean, the path really is baby steps. Dip your toe in that water of expression. Speak up, take up space. Dip your toe in there. See how it feels. See how people react to you. Okay, great. Keep trying. Keep trying. Keep dipping in a little bit more into that. Just that question, if I was really free, how would I act? Fake it till you make it. And yeah, I think that answered the question.
Yeah. I mean, beautiful. It's so cool to see how it all ties in with each other, and meditation is the practice that helps you get to know you and also who you are not, and a
Mhm.
taste of the void and the stillness that then authenticity and expression can come through, and intuition, and from there you can start to dance through life and also like create meaning like you said earlier, because if not, there's like this quote by Peter Crone of something about like, if you don't consciously create your future, your mind will create one for you, and it's usually not good. Like it's
Yeah.
based on all your past, fears, whatnot. And
Yep.
so
Yep.
I think meditation is the practice to actually like create your reality and start to consciously be the creator and play with creation itself. And so, yeah, I love this all. I feel like we could keep talking for hours, but like, thank you so much
Good.
for your time and for your
Of
wisdom. And
course.
it's such an honor. And tell people how they can connect with you, your
Yeah.
Instagram handle, and how they can work with
Yep.
you too if they're interested.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you, Lily, for having me on. I definitely want to have you on my podcast, which right now is called the Duff Daddy Experience. I'm about to drop a new name. So my friend Mars
Oh,
actually
yeah.
convinced me to, the new name is Spiritual Fuckboy. So that's
Let's go. That's
so
like perfect.
exactly. So you might be, so look up Duff Daddy Experience if you're watching this recently, or it's probably going to be Spiritual Fuckboy in the next like couple weeks. I'm the host. My name is Ben Duffy. My Instagram handle is Duff Daddy 100. So that's DUFFDADDY 100. I have a TikTok too. I haven't been posting on it as much as I should. That's I think it's Dharma Daddy 108. I have links in my bio on Instagram. I am again a practicing therapist. If you're in the state of Colorado and looking for a therapist, you can hit me up. Probably through Instagram. Honestly, just hit me up in the DMs. Or if you are outside of the state of Colorado, I also have coaching clients. So it's like a legality thing with therapy. Like I can't take people outside of the state of Colorado and call it therapy, which is fine with me. So if you want to work together with me one-on-one, I am offering, one-on-one sessions. I'm about to launch my brand, my website, and yeah, sort of start offering quite a few more offerings, which include online community, courses, cohort model, courses with me running them. So stay tuned. But yeah, if you want to get in touch with me and you want to do sessions, please hit me up on Instagram. Again, at DuffDaddy100. That's DUFFDADDY 100. So yeah, and thank you so much, Lily. I really appreciate it. This was a fun conversation.
For sure. And I'll include all the links in the show notes below for people to be able to access easily. But definitely go follow Ben. Like, even just your content alone is just like there's something so refreshing about your authenticity and also your wisdom, and like the different archetypes you play and embody just like as who you are. It's awesome. So yeah, I love everything you're doing, and thanks again for coming on, and thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.